2, 3.
Well, good day, everyone. Good day. So great to be with you again. My partner, Betty Ann Golden, and I are completely enthused, excited to talk with you again today because we're going to start delving into a topic that is really close to both our hearts. And we feel that has made such a difference in our lives, has really improved the quality of our lives. And we really feel that, along with the theme of this podcast and our aim to help all of us deepen into greater love and joy and abundance, that, oh my goodness, like gratitude is such a huge, huge part of that, without a doubt. And I think we can both attest to that. And, we just want to talk about it and talk about some of our experiences and, actually also talk about what it is, gratitude, and also the importance of a gratitude practice in your life, and
Absolutely.
how daily gratitude, even more than once a day, but at least once a day, to be grateful, consciously and deliberately grateful, and put that out there, right? Put that out there for what it is that you're grateful for. Just that you're grateful for your life generally, whatever it is, right? It doesn't have to look like anything or whatever, but there is so much to be grateful for. And, I know myself, and maybe Betty Ann can agree to this, that, there was a time in my life that, back in the day when I first started with personal growth and getting going, that I was grateful. I was grateful for the life that I had to a certain extent, and my kids. Oh my God, I was grateful for them and my family and friends and things like that. And but I really learned along my journey to amplify that, to really focus on that and focus on what's good, what you're grateful for, and not focus as much, take your predominant focus and put it on that, and not on what's the matter, what's wrong. I mean, because, face it, right, Betty Ann, we live in a vibrational universe. Our thoughts and feelings are bundles of energy, and they have an influence in our lives. And what we focus on primarily, we're going to attract, right? We're going to attract more of.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, I just can't say enough for, how much a profound difference that it's made in my life.
Well,
Having that practice.
I, totally. And I've always been grateful. I as a always was a happy person. Um, I'm not saying that I didn't, as an adult, I didn't get unhappy. There are
Yeah,
times,
yeah,
and but I believe that counting our blessings is what you're grateful for. And what are your blessings? Um, there are so many different ways to express them. Count your own blessings. Count, what are you grateful for? Well, some people say, they're in a very bad way, whether it's health or it's their situation. They feel stuck. But in reality, you need to find at least what I'm happy I'm breathing, you know. There's always somebody worse than you. And that's what's really an awakening, when you realize that all and any of your issues, they're not the worst. There's always somebody worse off than you. So you have to be grateful that you're not at your worst, even if that's all you're grateful for. And be grateful that, okay, this is a process of what I'm going through. And it's just getting me to a better place. So there's so many things. There's a use. I have a process that you write down all your what you're grateful for every evening before you go to bed or every morning when you wake up, and that helps you remind yourself to be happy and grateful. There's many different tools out there that you can use, or just that's a simple meditation. Is accounting for what you're grateful for every day.
Yeah, on
And
a daily basis, on a daily basis.
mhm.
This means every day you find something. And just like you said, we've all had, low times. We've all had times where it's difficult to sometimes to even think about something necessarily that you are grateful for. But there always is something. There always is if you dig deep enough to find it, right? Like there is always something. And that's what you need to focus on is
Yeah,
that.
and I have found that if you make it a challenge to yourself to be grateful for 30 days in a row,
Hey, that's
that
a great idea. Yeah, yeah.
you you'll get so much. Your life will change around. So um, it's really funny because you can be grateful so that this way your life is better. But it's when you are grateful for others, all of a sudden it's not only your life that gets better, but their life that gets better, even if they don't know it.
And most of
Because
the
I
time they don't. They don't know it. They don't know
no,
it. And it takes a while, does it not? Didn't you find for you it took a little while to recognize that? But as
it
you
took,
practiced and you built up this vibration of gratitude within, right? You became a grateful person. You deliberately set about making yourself, I know I did, making yourself a grateful person
you
from
know what?
somebody who's maybe mediocre grateful, like not full on grateful. You take the steps and become that. You really do notice with other people. And
Yeah,
especially when you're grateful to have them in your life, my goodness. I mean, it changes the dynamics, it changes the energy of the whole scenario.
you know what's hard to do? Be grateful for the argument. Be grateful for the negative thing that happened to you.
Ah, yeah.
That's the hardest thing, when either someone does something to you or you both just clashed, um, and you're like, oh my God, this is the worst thing I could ever think that it could happen. But in order to get over it, there's something that we have to do within ourselves, and that's to be grateful that either you spoke out or they spoke out. Now you know, whether you like it or not, whether it hurts you or not, it's a lesson. So we have to be grateful for those reminders to realize where you really are, and that the growth that you're doing it in yourself, that you're growing as a grateful person. And when gratitude is being, if you're religious, it's having that God within you, that whatever God you believe in, it's that blessing. But when you're not grateful, when you're not in the state of being grateful, you're in the state of being depressed or upset or mad. So you can't accept that love. You can't accept those blessings because you don't have room for it. So we
Yeah, you're
block
not open to it. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And you know, like if you're not a religious person, a spiritual person, whatever, you
it. It's the
can
same.
be grateful to life. Life, like to me, God is life. I mean, God is the life force, the
Absolutely.
good life force, right?
Mother
So
Earth, the
not yet,
universe.
yeah, the universe, whatever, right? Exactly. Whatever you believe and what resonates for you, right?
Yeah,
Be-
that's right.
that's who you're saying you're grateful to. Like you're declaring that. It's a declaration is what it is. You know, that that you're grateful for this, that, and the other thing. And like you say, it can be really, really hard when you're challenged if something has happened that's really painful to find the silver lining because they're always, in my experience, there always is a silver lining, but it's not always so obvious what it is.
I know the saying goes, things happen for a reason, but we don't always know the reason at that time. And we may never know the reason because maybe we're not open to hearing the reason. But when you become grateful for that experience, good, bad, or indifferent, it it opens you up to accepting the good from it, whatever it ends up being. I mean, so how many times do we get mad at ourselves because we're running late, but we ran late, and then we found out if we left on time, we would have been in an accident or something like
Or
that.
something,
I mean,
yeah, something, right? Mhm,
or
mhm, mhm.
you realize that you're upset and mad and everything, and you're running late, and then you find out the appointment that you were at, they're running later. And then you're going, oh, I just got all upset and worked out over it. Instead of saying, you know what, I'm going to be on time because timing is always right for me. I mean, these are little things that we need to accept and learn to just let it go. Let let the negative energy go. Not that you can't recognize it and know you got it, because I know with me, you have to at least say, okay, I'm feeling that edge. Um, I'm not feeling grateful right now, and then I go, but that's not me, and this is, and I find something to smile about and fill my heart, and then I move
Yeah,
on.
and oftentimes you ask the question, if in certain circumstances, what is this about? And if you're open to listening, I found that, it took some work to get there, but when I was open to listening, I would intuit, I would get the message as to, what's going on. And, sometimes you don't like what the message you get, but,
But
like the truth will speak to you, right?
but in the long term, and you'll realize that that's why that had to happen. you
Yeah.
know that's why I had to experience it, or that's why all those things happen, is because I had to go through all that in order to
Yeah.
appreciate anything else.
And that's what the experience teaches you. You don't know that in the beginning, but as you experience, right? You
Yep.
learn these things. You learn that there is, what we're saying here, there is some sort of a reason, a silver lining, something to learn, whatever, right? And you learn, you just build those trust muscles to trust that there's always something for you, whether or not you've had a bad experience or not. There's always something.
Yeah. Well, our title is the practice of gratitude.
Right,
Um,
right.
you have to find something that finds good, feels good with you. I know for me, I've had a journey of processing of gratitude and understanding gratitude and understanding why I need to send it out and be
Mhm.
grateful for others. Um, so that this way I can actually be appreciative of my own gratitude to me. And I, I've learned this um, through a process of um, understanding that once a day, at least, practice some type of gratitude, whether it's gratitude for yourself. And what really would works great is you practice what you're grateful for you, what you're grateful for others in your life, and what you're grateful that is happening for you. So if you kind of think of it on those lines every day, what am I grateful for in me? Am I grateful that I do stop and think before I act? I'm grateful that I'm breathing, you know. And then what about for
Sometimes
others?
that's what it is. It'll be if the day is like that, if it's not a particularly wonderful day, it might be that that might be what it is that you come up with, and that's good. I mean,
Yeah,
we've got a day of life. Is that not, something to be grateful for, right?
absolutely. Well,
Yeah.
that that is one of the books, um, The Secret. The book, The Secret, was the secret is really gratitude. Um, it's it's gratitude for everything in life, and when
Yeah.
you're in gratitude, then you love and you appreciate and
Gratitude
you.
is love, right? Gratitude is love.
So when you're grateful for physical things, material things, it doesn't matter. But if you try to put in one that's you, you're grateful for, you know, the ability to lift your hand. I mean, I don't know what any of our, we all have different situations, we all have different emotions that we go through. So even if you could just say, I am grateful that I could open my mouth.
Betty Ann, I remember years ago when long story short here, of course, when I was having some health challenges and I was in the hospital and I was actually getting a blood infusion. And I'd
Oh my
started on the gratitude journey at that point in my own personal journey. And I remember, being there. And this was the second time that this had happened to me because I literally burned myself out, is what I did. I
Hmm.
burned myself out and I had this pretty much uncontrollable bleeding going on, menstrual bleeding going on. And it got to the point that it was just, like copious amounts, right? And this was the second time that this had happened to me. So, there I remember laying there and going, I am just so grateful to be here and to have these nurses. Like they were just like wonderful, like they'd been dropped from heaven almost, right? And they were just doing everything that they could possibly do for me to make me comfortable and all that sort of stuff. And I just remember lying there and I was just so grateful versus being upset that there I was again. And, why is this happening to me? Why life sucks? Like, what is, like,
I know.
it's a choice a lot of times, right? Like it's a choice that you need to make sometimes because we understand we make that choice, because it's a high vibration. And if we want better lives, if we want things to change, we want our life to stop sucking, or we want improvements,
Yeah.
we cannot focus on what's wrong.
No.
We've said it before. Quantum physics has proven that thoughts are creative, thoughts are energy. And if you'll not improve your life, you'll not have more love, more joy, more, anything in your life if you don't stop focusing on what is contrary to those things. It just doesn't work any other way, right? It just doesn't. Like you can't, this is the law of physics. Like you
Yep.
can't go again, like you just can't. So I was really happy for myself. You talk about gratitude for oneself, and I think that that's a really important point, especially since we've been focusing on some of our podcasts about self love and loving ourselves more. This is a perfect way to raise your self love and to love yourself more is by daily thinking about something that you're grateful about yourself for, like something that's good that you appreciate about yourself. And I remember appreciating that I had gotten to that point where I could actually focus first and foremost naturally on being grateful and what was right about this scenario, even though there was all kinds of indications to like I got a long way to go here, right? And just to be grateful for the care I was getting, and grateful that I felt that way,
Yes. Yeah.
you
And
know
the realization comes to you at weird times. And, but when those times come, it's more of an awakening to who you really are. You know, we are, we're grateful for a lot of things in our lives. And even as simple as you know, it's funny, but most of us just don't realize how good we have life and just being here on earth and being human.
yeah,
And we have to thank God, thank our universe, thank
life
anybody, your
life
your higher self.
yeah,
Thank, be grateful for it because there's a reason why we're here. And the reason is not to just take on and do stuff that everybody we think has more authority over us, because what we have inside us is more important than anything anyone can tell you what to do. And the
absolutely.
value of who you are is is the most important thing that you need to appreciate and be grateful for. And you know, speak up,
Yeah,
be you. Love you. And it doesn't matter if anybody else agrees with you or likes you or not. And that's the hardest thing because been brought up with wanting to be liked. You want to do the right thing. By who? What is the right thing? Who set those stupid standards? If you feel good about doing something, that's the right thing for you. You know,
absolutely,
if
absolutely.
yeah, as long as you're not feeling because you never want to feel guilty, or you never want to feel like you hurt someone, because the only hurt is, oh, how many times do we think, oh, this person's upsetting me, but you're not talking to them. You're just creating this in your head because you're not facing the fact that it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter if that person is going to like what you have to say or not. Just say what, be who you are, you know. And when you're angry at someone that you're not talking to, you're not hurting them. You're hurting you. You know. So
Yeah,
unless
you
you're,
certainly are. You certainly are.
yeah. So you have to be grateful for little things. You know, grateful for big things. But if you learn to be grateful for the little things, the bigger things come to you more often.
Right. And what we were talking about the energy of gratitude being a really high vibration, like it's up there with love. It is love,
It
right?
is.
It is love.
Yeah.
So the more you express gratitude and you have gratitude for your life and things in your life, the more you're going to have to be grateful for. You know, I remember hearing that kind of a statement years ago, and I just didn't get it. I didn't get how that could multiply, how that energy could go out there and then bring back to me the equivalent of what I was putting out there, you know? Like,
Correct.
I just didn't get it because I didn't have the experience of it. I just had not never experienced it. It was just an intellectual, thing that I'd learned, but it resonated. It made sense to me that I'm going to try this out. I'm going to try and build my gratitude, become even more grateful than I am, and I'm going to see what happens. I'm going to see what happens in my life.
A lot
And
happen.
oh my goodness. And it continues and it just keeps continuing. It keeps continuing. So I know for myself that I have proven it to myself that works. It works. It really, really does. And I think it's something that we, in order to really understand it from more than an intellectual standpoint, to really embody it, you have to go on your own journey with it.
Yeah.
And we were mentioning you said a perfect way, a perfect practice for people to get into a gratitude challenge of 30 days, to find something once a day, at least one thing, and what you're grateful for about yourself being one, and what you're grateful for about your life, other people, whatever that looks like. But okay, let's say two things to be grateful for in the course of the day for 30 days. If you can't do it for 30 days because you're just starting out with this, do it for a week. Don't bite off more than you can chew either, right? Just experiment with it in your life and then notice how you feel. And maybe journal what it is that you're starting to feel as you do this. Like what changes are happening inside you. Are you feeling better? Because I guarantee that if you, and I'm sure you agree, right? That if you do this and you're consistent with it, you're going to feel better. It's physics, it's law. I mean, just, right?
Law of the universe, universal law. Yep. Yeah.
And yeah, it is the universal law. Sorry?
And once you are in gratitude and you have that good feeling, the love and appreciation, you can give more away. So
Absolutely.
once you know who you are and that feeling, you can give to others. So that's that next step is, you know, telling somebody different every day that you appreciate them, you're grateful for them, you thank them for what they do, whether it's at work or at home or just a friend or a family member. Just tell them I love you, I appreciate you, I'm grateful for you, whatever it is, just for them being in your life. Even if you did that every day, you would be amazed at what you would do, and you would touch a million people's lives,
Yeah,
because
not just your own, but others. Yeah.
always goes it always pays forward. You may not know it, but it does, because when you make someone else feel better, they feel better, and what do? They turn around and they make someone else feel better. And
And
then,
you will realize it down the road, right, Betty Ann? You will
yeah,
realize it down the road. Maybe not in the beginning. You don't, when you're starting out with something, you're trying something on, it may not be obvious, but if you stick with it, you'll notice these things and how it
absolutely
works, right? But it does
right.
take a certain amount of discipline to do that, and commitment and desire, right? Desire. Like if it's resonating with you, what we're saying here, you know, and you have a desire to try it out, do it and be committed to it.
Let us know in the comments
Yeah, absolutely.
if you already do it, if you want to
Yeah,
start doing, or if you're going to start doing, if you've had any results with this, because I
yeah.
don't know, listening to this particular video.
I
Um,
would I would absolutely love, and I know you would too, to hear about people's experiences and how that's working for them, right?
yes,
And how it has worked for them, right? And even people starting, with realizing like I did years ago that I was grateful, but I wanted to up that. I really wanted to up that. I really wanted to experience what it would be like to be a really grateful person and how my life would be better, how much more love I could bring in, how much more joy I could bring in to myself and others,
uh,
right? And I
yep,
just wanted to say, I'm just looking at our time again, but I just wanted to say one thing about, what you said earlier. You were talking about, challenges and how, people might be challenged, maybe physically, right? With an illness, with an ailment, maybe really, really, really challenged. And, they may be going, I, what have I got to be grateful for? Like I've got cancer, or I've got, I just had a massive heart attack and I've got to learn to walk again, or got to learn to use my, relearn these things. What have I got to be grateful for? I've lost so much. There always is something, like you were saying, like I can lift my arm, like I'm doing my physio and I actually moved my legs, or, you know, um, just things like that. I met the most wonderful person that came and talked to me and, made me more hopeful. I'm grateful for that. Or, like there's just always something that you can find, right?
absolutely.
And that's where it starts. That's just where it starts. And then trust that, because it's such a high vibration of energy, that it's when you get rolling with it, it's really going to pay back to you. It will pay back to you, right?
Tenfold.
Yeah. So they say in the Bible.
They say tenfold.
So yeah,
Sometimes more than that.
yeah,
Just
let's
tenfold is.
Yeah, yeah, maybe 100-fold or 10,000-fold. Who the heck knows? But we're going to continue this conversation, right, my dear? Because there's so much more to talk about this, and share
And,
about this, and looking forward to hearing what people have to say.
and don't forget to click the like button, subscribe, um, and put in a comment, send us a message, and let us know what you think, what you'd like to talk about, if there's anything new and exciting going on in your life. We just love to hear from you.
Right.
And
Yeah. We're here to be of assistance too, if however we can be, whatever that is, however that looks.
and just
Right.
remember, it's your heart of love.
Absolutely. Okay, we will talk soon.
Thank you. Thanks.
Later.
Thanks. Ciao.